All right, everybody, gear up for some videos because it is the season. Tis the season. Football is returning, guys. It's been a minute since we've been on this channel. Football, basketball, all that. We did a video on the Olympics. I just was traveling recently, so I didn't really get to do a follow-up video. Tonight's video is extremely interesting. Like, extremely interesting. So I want you guys to get in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. I did see this yesterday, and I was very interested. I wanted to make a video talking about it. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in the world of football. So, as we know, obviously, Ronaldo, Messi, these guys bring in the money. And to be honest, people are quick to forget Ronaldo's contract. Ronaldo's contract is a crazy contract. The one he signed with Al Nassr is paying him $200 million per year. So he's got a 2.5-year contract, which is a $500 million deal, which is crazy. A $500 million deal. Messi obviously had a huge contract to go to PSG. We've seen some, to go to Inter Milan. Neymar had a huge contract to go to PSG. That was one of the craziest. I think that was the record at the time when that one came out. Mbappe's obviously was crazy. Mbappe going to Real Madrid is obviously is a really expensive contract as well. There's been a lot of contracts over the years, and look, Ronaldo's is the only one that really you could kind of put in that same spot. We also see what's going on with Saudi right now with golf as well. That's a whole other video to make, what they're doing with golf. If you guys don't know about that, it's crazy how they've been doing that. But Vinny, who, in my opinion, is probably, well, he's up there for the Ballon d'Or. I don't know if he's going to win it. He's up there with Rodri. He's up there with Jude. It's going to be one of those three that will win it this year. He's had an unbelievable season, and there was a leak that Ahli offered him a 1 billion, all right, a 1 billion euro salary. 1 billion euros. Now, this is a 5-year deal. He could be a free agent in 2029. And, I guess the perk to the deal which they put in is that, hey, Vinny, you can return to Europe, and play at the top level still before you're 30. So you can go get the money and you can go back to Europe and you'll still be in your, maybe prime, even though I think Vinny's kind of in his prime right now. He's playing crazy. He's hit his prime earlier. And these special players, these real special players, I'm not going to say Vinny's like Messi, Ronaldo. I'm not saying that. But Vinny is turned into a sensational player. These special players hit primes way earlier. People always say in football, people have crazy primes from like 25 to 30 to 31, 32, around that age. Vinny's hitting it earlier because he's him, right? He's a really good player. He's one of those guys. Any job he wants in Saudi Arabia after retirement. Any job? Do they mean any job? Like literally any job? And then ambassador for the 2034 World Cup. So that's what's in the deal. And just to break down the deal for you guys, it's a 5-year offer, 1 billion euros. It just says plus, but essentially the deal is worked in that he's supposedly going to be getting 350 million euros a year, which is going to be more than what Ronaldo is getting in his deal, which is 200 before endorsements. It's just, guys, can you imagine per day getting 961,000 euros? Like, can you imagine making $1 million per day? That's insane. We're talking like Warren Buffett stuff, right? That's how crazy it really is. 40,000 euros per hour is what this contract is offered. And Vinny's in this situation where he's playing, really at such a top high level. In the last season, he had 15 goals, 6 assists in La Liga. He had 6 goals and 5 assists in Champions League. I thought Vinny overall last season genuinely was so clutch. I felt like Vinny in the large games played out of his mind. Out of his mind. I thought Vinny if it was a game they had to step up, Vinny was like that guy, right? He was like that guy. And it's crazy to see, Real Madrid gets all this hate for buying super teams and all this. Look, they took a chance on Vinny when he was 17 at 35 million euro. That's what they paid for him. How crazy is that? And look, even after they bought him, right, his market value still didn't even jump up that much, right? He jumped up a bit in 2019, and then he just wasn't playing well. Guys, overall, if you guys remember the 2019, around the COVID time, all right, of watching Real Madrid and watching Vinicius Jr., people were like, oh my God, he's a bust. It's a bad transfer. The amount of time and effort and work that Vinny has put into his game to be where he is now, because he's unbelievable now, all right? A lot of people don't like him because of his antics. People think that he's a little too, he riles up the crowd a little too much. He gets his fair share of, people think he talks shit. So I understand some people don't love him. Some people think he talks too much. I love him, bro, because I think he's a good example of you put in the work, you will be rewarded. That's why I like Vinny a lot. I think he really has put in the time. If you go watch the highlights, I can't show you because of copyright, of that 2020 season and to where he is now, it's no surprise that, I think that market value, even at age 23 right now, is a little undervalued. I think he's worth even more than that. No, he's 24 now, so that'll update. And obviously, he's a Ballon d'Or contender this season, which he's never been. He's a top 3 contender, and look, he might be going for more. I mean, he's on the God squad. I think Mbappe has a huge chance to get his first Ballon d'Or. It's crazy he hasn't had one because he will be at Real Madrid. I think it will be tough for Vinny to outshine Mbappe at Madrid. So hopefully, maybe he gets the Ballon d'Or this year. I think him or Rodri for me, I'm fine with. That's another conversation. I mean, the conversation that I bring to you guys today with this contract. What the hell would you do? Right? His contract, this offer is 13 times more than the current offer. And I'm going to break down a couple of thoughts I had on this because that's really why we're making this video today. First of all, I want to hear in the comments, so get in the comments. What would you do? All right? What would you do? Would you take this deal? Now, the way that I look at it, we look at a player like Vinny Jr. All right? Vinny Jr. has had endorsements. He has had bags coming in. Look, I'm not going to go crazy with looking online at what his net worth is because net worth online it's not accurate anyways. How does the online know how you invest and manage and use your money or what you spend and what you don't spend and how you save? They don't know your spending habits, right? You could make a certain amount of money in a range, but that's what the online number is giving you. It doesn't tell you, did that person make more with their money? Did they lose their money? It doesn't take into consideration taxes. But for the sake of the argument, I would be surprised if Vinny had less than, let's say, $50 to $100 million, right? I would be surprised at this point in his career with endorsements, ads, contracts, stuff like that, right? He's been playing at Real Madrid for 3-4 years now. He's got a lot going on. He's a really big deal in Brazil, right? So look, we look at this offer, right? Obviously, this is life-changing money, right? What you can do with that level of money. But what I ask all of you at home is that if you sat there, you have $100 million to your name. Let's say you have $100 million in assets, right? A $1 billion salary, right? And let's say it's a 1.5. Yeah, you're gonna probably 10 to 15x your worth, right? But do you guys feel like you need to do that? And I'm gonna explain to you why. You could call me crazy for this, right? Because if I was in that situation, I'm Vinny Jr., right? It depends on what his wants are as a footballer. Some footballers are really there because it's a job and it's money. There's other footballers. Look, any footballer that tells you they're not playing for money is lying. But there's other footballers that have a hybrid of the passion, right? They love the game. They literally love it, and they love to get paid for it, right? So they love the game. And Vinny seems more to me like he loves the game. I think he does. I think he's one of those guys. So in my experience here, right? In my experience, like I was ever offered this contract. If I had a contract of this magnitude coming in, right? 13 times larger than my current one. What would I do if I already had 100 mil? Well, what do I value? And that's what I would be looking at. Do I value the way people perceive me? Do I value my chances at a Ballon d'Or? And let's put it this way. Even if Cristiano Ronaldo went crazy at the Euro this year, even with him scoring like 50 goals overall this year in 40 and 30 games in Saudi, I don't think it would have been enough because I think league ranking-wise, the Saudi league isn't respected even close to these other leagues. The same goes with the MLS. It's just not even close to the level. You watch the games, you see the goalkeepers. It's not even close to that level. So in terms of what does he personally respect, that's what this decision is going to ultimately be down to with Vinny. Does he respect the way people perceive him currently, which a lot of people have respect for him, right? A lot of people do. A lot of people say he's one of the best players. Is it worth the sacrifice if you already have that much money to your name? Yeah, to be one of the richest people in the world, all right? That is. I mean, if you can get to 1 billion, right? Let's say post-tax, even expenses, all that, he's getting 500 mil from this 5-year deal, right? What you could do with that money to grow it over time is a joke, all right? Put it in the damn treasury bill right now, and you know how much that's going to be making? But that's what's going to be ultimately down to Vinny. And I think he's going to stay in Madrid. I think with the money he has, the way he's being perceived, he has such a respect now that he doesn't have 3 years ago. And the second any of these players, there's exceptions, take these deals in the prime of their career, people forget about them. That's just what it is now. These are full money deals, but there's no relevancy that comes from it. You might grow as a player and your persona in Saudi Arabia, but what Saudi is offering is saying, hey, take the money. This reminds me a lot of streamer deals. Streamer and YouTuber deals, right? Where these streamers are streaming on Twitch or YouTube and they get asked by like Kick or they get asked by, what was that site before? Mixer. Like, hey, we'll pay you 4 times to stream here, right? But I was one of those people when I got that offer, I said, hell no, right? Because it might sabotage my future. It might sabotage my reputation. I'm not going to compare myself to a pro footballer, but it's a similar situation with Saudi with these players. It really does compare because that's what they're facing. They're saying, holy crap, I could look at my bank account and not even 4 times, 13 times, right? 10 times, 5 times for many of these players. And I think in some cases it makes sense. I think the case that Saudi makes sense for these players is like Ronaldo's I don't have a problem with what Ronaldo did. I mean, he's getting paid way more at that age than he would get paid anywhere else, right? And any player that's kind of on the edge of their career, like they're towards the end, maybe they're past 33, 34, they're not who they were. But the problem with Saudi knows they have to get respect and grow their league really, they're going to have to get players in their primes. They're going to have to get talent going over there in their primes to make the league ultimately competitive. They can't just have it be like a retirement home, right? The MLS has even learned that, right? The MLS did that with like, and obviously Miami's doing that, but that's because Messi wanted those players. He wanted Busquets, he wanted Alba, but the MLS did that with David Villa and with Lampard, and it did. I think it spiced up the league a little. But when they left, what happens, right? Because they don't play that long. So that's what Vinny's going to be facing here. I think he won't do this. This was everywhere on Twitter yesterday. Just let me know what you guys would do. I mean, if you had a lot of money, would you take something like this? Would you take the $1 billion? I mean, am I crazy for that? Because like for me, if I was Vinny, I'm a pro footballer. I'm in the top 3 Ballon d'Or voting, right? I'm at Real Madrid, and now Mbappe is here with me, and I have Jude Bellingham, and I have this UCL DNA. I'm on the greatest team of all time in terms of the greatest club. I play for the greatest club in the world. I don't think this would be enough to get me to leave. I don't know if there's a number. I don't know if there's a number. I mean, there probably is a number, but like is 10 to 15 enough for you to go if you already are rich? It's a different story if he only had a couple mil to his name, and they're offering him $1 billion. It's just such an interesting situation, right? And it's so funny to see that, the contract is like Saudi's trying to take care of him for life, right? They're saying you can have whatever job you want after retirement. You can go back to Europe when you turn 30. But think about Vinny's going to lose 5 to 6 years of his prime. And how long is a prime going to be? Not everybody. We look at players that peaked early, right? Like Hazard had such a fast prime. It was so early on. Not all these players are going to be like Messi and Ronaldo and play like deep into their 30s and be balling. It's not possible. It's not. I mean, I know that there's a lot more investment and players take a lot more care of their bodies and their habits, but it's tough, man. It's a tough situation. Look how much money that is. I mean, we're talking billion, bro. Billion plus 350 per year. It's one of the craziest deals I've ever seen. And I expect Vinny to not do it. I think he'll stay. Is there a scenario where he's at a different club and he might do it? He might, but it's one of those two where just a final thought with this sport. Like, it's tough to see this happening, right? Because this is the definition of pay to win. This is what clubs are trying to do now. It's like the overall sport of football, it's always been a money game, but it feels so much more like a money game these days. It really does. It feels like people are just buying people there, offering there. It's money's going crazy. So what would you guys do? What would you guys do in Vinny's situation? This is crazy. We've never really seen this. This is an insane offer, and this is really one of the first times we've seen an offer of this magnitude for a player that's like joining and entering and in the prime of his career. I mean, we've seen Neymar go here. We've seen Ronaldo go here, but we've never seen a player of this level take this type of deal. Messi goes to the MLS because he wants to chill out a little bit. He doesn't want to go that crazy anymore. All that is understandable. Insane, man. Insane deal. What would you guys do? I'm not taking this one if I'm Vinny, if I'm in his shoes. Not even if I'm just me. If I'm Vinny, I'm not taking this deal. I think at a certain level, the final thought I have is that you have to respect and always put your legacy over money. If you're taken care of and you have money, you got to put your reputation, you got to put your legacy, and you got to prepare for your future. Money can prepare you for your future, but it's a situation with Vinny. Is he going to be hated so much as a player if he takes his deal? And is money going to really solve that problem? No. If you're in the limelight of media and all that, it's no money is worth getting hated on. No way. No way. Receiving hate is terrible. So what do you guys think? What would you do? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be uploading a lot more here. We'll see you then. Peace.